Okay, hi, it's Jeanne Petrosky, and I'm coming to you on behalf of the Rittenhouse Square art show that was happening, usually happens this time of right now, this weekend in Philadelphia. But because of COVID and keeping everybody safe, we want to make sure that we are all safe. We are doing virtually. And hopefully, you've been watching some of the other events that have been happening and shopping on the gallery and visiting artists in their virtual booths. All of that information is on the Rittenhouse Square website, which is rittenhousesquareart.com. I wanted to make sure before we get too far into this that you can hear us. If anyone is listening, if they can respond yes or no, I would greatly appreciate that because we've had some glitches. All right. So again, thank you to the board for being broad-minded, and thinking outside the box to present these events to you. Our event, usually Dennis and I are together, but we are not. He is helping with my dear friend and fellow artist Lisa Muller, who I hope you got to see her presentation yesterday. She is doing the videography, so and she'll be answering any questions. So say hi, Lisa.
Hi. Just type your questions in and I'll read them to Jeanne.
So don't just wait. Don't wait. Just put them in when you think of them. Our presentation will last 30 to 40 minutes. And because you showed up, you'll get a special little present at the end. Just hang in there, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so paper making. We did this. You can go to our website, which is jpdesignart.com, and there's an amazing video there on the front page of how we make our paper. It's professionally done. It's fabulous. So check that out. So I just want to run through the different ways that I've made paper. There's all kinds. There's Western paper making. There's papyrus, just beating the leaves. But we won't get into any of that. I learned with a mold and a decal, and having a vat of water and putting the pulp in there, which I have some pulp here, but the same exact pulp we're using, and I've been using for 33 years. I've been a paper maker and an artist all my life, but a paper maker for 33. So you scoop up the fiber, you shake it, and you take the decal off, and you transfer this onto a surface, and then that makes a sheet of paper. That's how I learned. This is the loud equipment that I don't like using. Dennis is the one who uses it, and there is we're spraying the pulp. So he has to make this same pulp into a slurry. So it goes through this little tiny orifice right there. I mean, come on. So, and it's loud. So there's again, on the site, look at because there's a real beautiful video of this. We start with a sheet of aluminum, spray a layer of pulp down. And then put wire in there, and then spray another. And he wears ear stuff, and or he's supposed to. And then that's how we make our paper now. So we can make 4-foot by 8-foot sheets of paper, and they're strong, they're durable because of the wire that stays embedded between the two layers of pulp. This is a sheet of paper that we've made, and you can see, I think you can see the darkness, yeah? So the darkness that you see is the wire. And this stuff here is the overspray. And we have to tear that off back to the wire so you get that beautiful deckled edge, which we accent often with contrasting colors and on and on. And but that's intrinsic to handmade paper, and that's why we don't use a canvas. We love this edge and have been using that edge. So now we have all these scraps of pulp, of paper. And Dennis has been collecting it. It's just been making bags and bags of it. And now our studio is not big anymore. We've moved our studio to our home, and we will still be having open studios. But anyway, space is limited.
Can you hold up some paper so people can see how light it is? Okay. All the diverse shapes.
Yeah, and it's again just the edges that have been. So anyway, we have bags of this stuff, and it's like, what do I do with it all? And I gave some to the local art center, and it's like he reuses some of it, but apparently he can't reuse as much as he makes. So I don't quite understand that, but that's what he tells me, and I believe him. So I came up with taking the pulp, taking these papers, rehydrating them, and putting them directly onto a backboard with my hands. So the equipment that is used now on these pieces are not the mold and decal. It's not the big equipment. It's these two beautiful things that we all have. So I want to show you how you can make paper art in your kitchen, okay, with common things that you would have in your kitchen. We have professional equipment, and it's a lot quicker, but you still get the same result. So I'm excited to show this to you. This is our little baby blender, but if you have something stronger in your kitchen, you can use that. If you're going to be a paper maker, bless you, it's really fun. But if you're going to become a paper maker, get a regular blender, just for paper making. But you'll get tired of that. You call me and we'll talk, because there's other equipment that you could use that would make your life so much more enjoyable. But for now, for you guys to test this out, what you're going to do is tear up this paper. Now this stuff does not have the wire in it, because remember, it was all the overspray. And you don't want to burn out your blenders. I had my blender for at least 5 years. We still have it. Had it. We don't anymore, but it lasted a long time. So you don't, about that much paper we'll put in there.
Oh, so the ratio is 3 to 1, say, water to
paper. Yeah. That's for those math-minded people. Yeah, you don't want to.
A lot of water and a little.
Yeah, I was taught a size of a quarter, but my gosh, that's probably why my blender lasted 5 years. And this is a regular strainer from your kitchen, okay? And this is a regular bucket. Nothing professional about this. This is, I don't know, this is loud because it's a blender, but for about 20 seconds you want to hydrate it. Oh, that's not too bad. So you could be washing your hands while you're, don't you supposed to wash your hands for 20 seconds? And look at this. This is so beautiful. Look at that beautiful head.
Paper milkshake.
Now, this gets that way because our papers have what's called methyl cellulose, which is an archival glue, and formation aid, and it's basically slime. It's just like a slimy stuff, and that's so it can go through that little tiny hole. So we're going to pour this in here. Does that show it? Okay, nothing, and none of this is difficult. This is the most time-consuming part, and I will not bore you with making enough pulp to work on this, but you probably have to do that maybe 4 or 5 times. And thank you, Betty Crocker, for the other, the quick method. So I have made a batch of this stuff. Oh, while we're doing this, and we're doing shameless promotion, this particular piece is on the Rittenhouse Square gallery and can be purchased. Along with, there's 3 other pieces. There's 2 other babies. We call these our babies. They're blessings. And there's a beautiful birch tree up there. So, but, check out, again, Rittenhouse Square art.com. Right on the front page, you can shop until Sunday night at 5 o'clock. Even 1 in the morning when you are just thinking about, oh, that piece is so beautiful. I need to buy it. Don't wait till the morning. Just get up and buy it. Okay. So now we have our pulp. We have all of our babies or blessings are framed, and they come in this wooden frame with this backing in it. That's how they come to us. So I took this backing, and I think it's masonite, something like that. And I'm going to put the pulp, excuse me, right on this board. You need something strong. You don't want to just use mat board, because you're working wet and it'll get all terrible.
So you need something sealed. Did you seal the masonite?
This might be a quiet. Taking the pulp.
So there's something on the masonite right now, and that is just water before you began. Okay.
And this pulp is like marshmallow. It's really a very beautiful texture. And I'm not used to doing it this way. With a mixer, I'm used to using our other, it's called a Jiffy mixer. But the mixer itself cuts the fibers. And I guess it infuses it with air or something, but it's really fluffy. You'll have fun working with it. And it's not like clay, because it is, but it's not, because clay isn't this wet. Okay, so again, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I feel like I've been drinking beer all day and burping and coughing, but I haven't, so that's later. Because this is going into a frame, I need my edges clean. But if not, my gosh, you can just go right over, just have it smushing out all over the place. Here's some different tools. None of these probably will be in your kitchen, but there's some stuff. Anything that will make a texture. Oh, and these, again, these beautiful things, these hands. That piece, that purple piece I showed you that is at the store, at the gallery, that's all done with my fingers. And I'm pressing hard. It's not, if you do a little bit, is not going to do anything. You really got to jam it in. And of course, this is for a demo. You know, we do things quickly, but making art is really, for me, very spiritual, and I like to be with the medium. So really get a, you know, feel what it's doing, make a friend with it. And again, well, I'm just tearing off the edges because I'll probably use this piece for future. Okay, the beauty always, always, always of paper making, no matter how you do it, is there are no mistakes. So if I say, oh, that looks awful, you just rehydrate this, you know, in your blender and you can reuse it. So I just want to do another, because I really couldn't, in when we use this stuff, I put extra formation aid in it, the slime part, because it moves around better. But this will work beautifully for you.
What's that lovely tool?
It is a flexible plastic smoother that I guess you get it at Home Depot. All right, so I'm going to use this. Again, I'm pressing hard. Nothing gentle about this. So this will look like flowers and petals when it's done. And as you press into it, it's going to smoosh out. And we're going to leave them puffy like that because they'll dry puffy. That's the fun part. And I'm not, this is the last one I'm going to do, but if you want a smooth surface, you can leave the backing showing through. You know, you don't have to cover every inch of it. You're doing okay? That was to Lisa, because
there's shrinkage, right? And so how do you account for that when you have a frame that is already a set measurement?
Well, the pulp shrinks a little bit, but not a whole lot. Really, it doesn't. It's nothing like clay. I think, doesn't clay?
Yeah, it's a range of shrinkage.
Yeah,
depending on the clay. So this is pretty much.
This will pretty
even
much,
with all that water.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And you know what? If it shrinks too much, which I've never had that problem, you can just take some of the pulp and add it later on.
Yeah.
So there's the flowers.
We don't want it to slide off, but yeah, you can really see the dimension.
Okay. And this will go into, usually when we're doing production, not production, that sounds terrible, because all of our pieces are one of a kind. But when we're doing multiple pieces at a time, because that's how we work, they go into a room that's about 100 degrees, and they will dry overnight. Now, if you have a 100-degree room, you might think about your ventilation in your house, but without any heat, it should take, I would say, 2 or 3 days to dry. If you can put a fan on it, that would be great. Okay. Otherwise, 2 or 3, and with a fan, 2 or 3 days. Okay. And then, so that gets down, goes down in our basement, and it gets dried and sealed up.
What do you seal it with?
You can use any acrylic sealer. This is the Liquitex Professional Sealer, and just brush it on. Because our paper has no sizing in it, if you went to paint right on it, it would soak right into that particular spot. Sizing is that wonderful medium in either you can internally size it or externally size it. And internal sizing is done when you're making the paper. And again, I keep saying that and again, but we are not professional paper makers. We are paper art makers. So to make technically good papers is a whole art in itself. And I won't even pretend to know about that stuff. But I do know that you can size it internally, or after your paper is made, you can smear it on afterwards. And that's what we do. We do more external sizing. Okay. Okay, so now the piece is dried and sealed, and this was done same way, just with my fingers. And we're going to talk about painting a little bit.
We do have a question. Can you tint the pulp itself?
Yes. You have to use paper. You have to pigment the pulp. I've tried water, like food coloring. That doesn't work at all. I've tried fabric dyes, and I don't. Well, that was just a pure mess because you need a fixative in it. And if you know about that, I mean, it's cotton fiber. So if you, but okay, so when I worked with colored pulp, which I did for a lot of years, I would buy through Carriage House paper, and they're in New York right now. And I would buy their water dispersed pigments, and it's a chemical thing where you have to put the water dispersed pigment in the pulp while it's hydrating, and then you put a fixative in there, and if you do the ratio right, all the color goes into the pulp. If you don't do it right, you're working in colored water. So yeah, you can color the pulp. And you can also, I mean, if longevity, we use cotton fiber because we want it to last forever. We do art. We've been doing it for 33 years. We hope that when you buy our work, it lasts generations. So we make sure we use cotton, because all your good art papers are made out of cotton. Your good books are made out of cotton. And but if you're just playing around, you can use construction paper. You can take copy paper. I did a whole presentation with copy paper in different colors, and that doesn't bleed. You can get colored pulp that way.
Because it's already been through the process of having, right?
Yeah, but it's wood pulp. All of those things are wood pulp and will fade and will deteriorate. So that's the difference between cotton and wood and the colorants that we use. Okay, a good question. Okay, so I base coated this, I sealed it, and I base coated it with white. And I just want to talk about our colorants a little bit. We use, and I call them glazes. I don't know what else to call them. But they're thinned out. The medium that we use is that. It's called faux cream. Dennis was a faux finisher before he and I met, and we're using his products. And this stuff is like probably a gel medium or any. Give me a hint, Lisa.
I mean, it could be a gel medium. What is the result you're after that it's giving you?
It's thinned out. Um, so this is a it's white, but it's really clear. And then I add pigment into it, so it makes it into a. Here's a pigment that we use, and it makes it into a thinned out colorant. Okay, so these products you have to be a faux finisher, but I know there's regular art products, and we've checked with conservators, and they highly approve these products. So I like to work with colorants, layers and layers and layers and layers, just building them up. And I like to work with the surface a little wet. Now with
So,
some, go ahead.
when you say thinned out with the medium that you're adding, do you mean that it makes them more translucent?
Yeah.
Or does it simply thin?
Both. So, that's what the consistency of them, and they are translucent too. And depending upon the size of the piece, this is the size I usually use, the two big brushes, but this piece is. So I'm just going to add, but you can see that you can see through it. All right. Sorry for the shaking, but that's good. Okay. And this is the beginning of very many. And actually this piece is going to be blue. The ultimate thing will be blue. So I want to add the complementary color of blue is orange. And when I put blue on top of that, it's going to turn browny or, like a darker blue. So that's how I always start, is the opposite. The complementary color. If you get into you get the idea. So you can actually be mixing colors right there. So the yellow and the red turned orangey here. And I'm really just going to do that much today. And then it goes into the cooker. We call that the cooker. So depending upon your base, depends upon what the color shows up. If any of you had followed my Facebook and Instagram, I have been working on this experimental project for, I don't know, an eternity. It's probably 3 weeks. And it's still not finished because I got involved with Rittenhouse Square Fine Art Show. But so here is something that was painted silver. And stay tuned, we're still doing that special thing. In just 2 minutes, we're going to do that special thing. So if I put the magenta over silver, as opposed to putting it over the gold, you can see. So it's really fun that it stays clear and liquidy and shows the color underneath. And the texture, that's the really cool part about it too, is that it puddles into the texture. So if you spray it,